Hey everybody, this is Mac from LMI Podcast. So I recently reached episode number 300 on this show, and I wanted to take a chance to just kind of go into what I do behind the scenes, how I produce the show, because I've actually had the question posed to me by several guests. So what do you do? How do you manage it? How do you prepare for it? How do you run the show? How do you pack for when you're traveling by taking the show on the road? And this is the episode where I'm going to discuss just that. Recently, in episode number 295, I got a chance to speak with Natalie Armstrong Moulton when I was out in France. And she did a really good job of explaining the benefits and the many reasons why lawyers and mediators should get on video and showcase themselves. You should visit the Lawyers Mediators International YouTube channel to check out her video. It's worth a listen. When it comes to how I record my own videos, my setup is pretty simple. I try to first off always use my studio to record. If I have to travel, of course, I'll do it remotely and in person. But whenever it's possible, I am recording from the office where I've set up my desk station. It basically consists of a HP all-in-one 24-inch monitor with an Intel i5 processor. It has 12 gigs of RAM and 1,000 gigs hard drive, and it has a built-in webcam. Now, this ranges from under $500 for older models to $1,500 for newer models. It depends on the configurations you get. I always recommend, of course, getting a computer that has no less than 16 gigs of RAM. This is an older machine, but it does the job. You'll find that most computers these days will be just fine, although the webcams typically are pretty bad, so you always want to get an external one, and I'll explain that in a second. On top of this PC, I have the LG 24-inch external monitor, and that connects via HDMI. For the camera, I have the Logitech MX Brio 4K webcam. I'm linking to all of these pieces of equipment on the show notes, and so you can click on the Amazon link, and if you want to buy it, you can get that yourself. But this webcam is really good. Costs about a couple $100 US dollars, and it is recording in 4K, so it's definitely worth the extra money to go ahead and invest in a really, really good webcam, because most webcams these days on a computer, whether it's a laptop or a desktop, it's going to be 720 or 1080p, which 1080p is fine, but you really want to spend the extra money and get a 4K camera if possible. Next, you'll see that I have the Logitech HD Pro C920 webcam. It's a older webcam, bought around 2020, but it does the job. It's basically a second camera that I use to record guests and to do side shot if I need it. Then I have the dual LED 22 watt lights by Unis UCP. That company is a new brand to me, so I'm not completely sure how to pronounce it, but I'll link to the lights. It's a pretty good light set, the combo. It comes with the ability to change the tone and the hue, and it doesn't have multiple colors, but it can at least help accentuate you without just giving you a bright white light. Then I have the Dasny camera light desk mounts to support the two LED lights, because you want to make sure that the lights are eye level or are not going to create some kind of under your nose shadow. And lastly, for audio, I have the USB-C XLR Mayono microphone. This thing is amazing because it's really simple to use. You simply plug in to your computer and you're ready to go. And so I think that they're one of the better microphones because they're able to give you a really clear sound without all the headaches. When it comes to the rest of my equipment, I carry around these items, which I call my mobile station. First, I have the Samsung Galaxy Book Pro 360. It has 16 gigs of RAM And the one you see here is the Book 1 first generation. We're at generation 5 now, so I may upgrade pretty soon. Next, I have the Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 FE 5G. This is great for when I need mobile internet on the go and for when I am doing recordings with people remotely and I need access to internet because there's no Wi-Fi outdoors. Next, I have the Microsoft Arc Touch mouse. I use these mice for my tablet and my PC because they are very flat and thin. Then I have the Kindle Scribe notebook with e-ink display. This has awesome battery life, so I don't have to worry about pen or paper anymore because all my notes are stored up in the cloud. Then I have the Logitech Zone Vibe Bluetooth headphones. These are great because they also have a built-in microphone that's come down to help you speak to somebody when you have to make a telephone call. Next, I have the holder for the DJI Lav Mic 1 and 2, the 7 Artisan Dual Lav mics for when I need to do interviews with somebody else. Then I have the DJI Mic Mini for when I'm recording by myself. Then I have the Plod AI voice recorder, and this is great for taking notes without having to keep up with the speaker. You can simply let the recorder take care of the recording, and then it will magically put together the notes for you through ChatGPT. Next, I have the DJI Neo 4K mini drone. The AI tech lets the drone follow you and record, and it helps showcase you in a different environment where you might need a second pair of hands to assist you with recording. And so this has become pretty useful, although it's sometimes difficult to find lawful places where you can in fact record. But these work great for capturing non-traditional shots. For lighting, I use the Amaran Ace Video Light. These are great because they are super bright and they operate on battery plus a plug. And so you're able to record as long as you want with having good lighting. And it's so small, you don't have to carry around a whole bunch of weight like I used to in the past. Now these just fit in your bag and you're able to fill up a room with really good lighting. Then I have the Ray-Ban Meta glasses. These glasses are a game changer. Now I'm able to record on the go by having another pair of cameras on my face. Basically, I can record footage that I might need to use later in a blog post or to put on some reels. There's some disappointments with it. For example, it's doing 9:16 instead of 16:9. However, it's an awesome piece of technology that uses a lot of AI as well. Next, I have the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra phone with 512 gigs of storage. So what I say about these high-end phones now, you do not need a DSLR camera anymore. These phones are amazing. This S23 version, which is a couple years old, has a whopping 200 megapixels resolution. And so it's basically the top kind of resolution you can get on any kind of device these days. It's very similar to the iPhone 16 or the Pixel 9 Pro. Basically, if you have one of these phones, you're able to use it as your main camera in order to record the videos when you go and meet your guests in person. And so I use it for France. I use it for Toronto, where I was recently. I used it in California when I was doing some recordings back in early February. And so this is what I use now. It's basically my cell phone. Simply because of the resolution. Also, the battery on the S23 Ultra is amazing. It will last you all day. Last thing you need when you're recording is to drop dead. And so you have to have a really good battery. So make sure that the device that you use has an amazing battery life. For my tripod to hold on my phone or phones, I'm using the newer Light Trip 61-inch aluminum travel tripod. It's great because it's compact and it can fit in my luggage. And I can carry it around without looking kind of awkward when I'm traveling. To hold on to the phone on top of the tripod, I use the newer metal phone tripod mount adapter. And this thing is amazing because it can hold 2 devices plus a light. And so it's really sturdy, very heavy duty in order to hold all that weight. Next, I carry the DJI Osmo Mobile 7P gimbal. It's a stabilizer that can hold onto your phone and it can track your movements. It's a small little tripod that can also act like a selfie stick if you need it. And so this thing is pretty amazing because it will charge your phone. It will, again, let it track you so you don't have to hold on to your device. You can just put it on a stand and you can walk away and it will follow your movements. And so this little thing is pretty neat. Got it recently after reading a lot of reviews on it. The other gimbals that they sell by DJI are pretty expensive, but this one was a relatively affordable piece of technology. And so I'm looking forward to using it even more. When it comes to power, it's kind of pointless if all your technology on the road is going to go dead. And so you want to make sure that you have juice to keep you going throughout the day, especially when you're doing multiple recordings. And so I carry around a couple things. One is the Anker Nano power bank. It's a small little device that will at least give me some juice in case my phone is going completely dead. The other thing I use is the Baseus laptop power bank. It's the Blade version, which means it's really flat. It will fit in my luggage very, very easily. So I have 2 of them. Each has 100 watts of power, and so it's able to power my tablet, my laptop, my lights, and so it just keeps you going all day long. Next, I carry the Anker 65 watt slim wall charger. This thing is very, very thin and is able to help me stay powered up when I can find an outlet. And so because it has USB-C and USB 2, I'm able to connect everything all at once so that I don't have to keep looking for multiple power adapters when I need it. I carry the Ventar Universal Travel Adapter, and this thing allows me to travel around the world without having to worry about whether or not my plug is going to work in a specific wall. And so when I went to Europe recently, I was very pleased with it. Didn't let me down. In the past, I've had to carry a lot of power blocks that were huge. And so this thing is very compact and it gives you multiple countries in one little device. So there you have it. This is all the tools that I use, both in the office and outside of the office. I spent a lot of time trying to simplify all of this as much as possible so I can reduce the weight I carry around and so I can learn a few really, really good tools really well. And so if you want to follow me and basically put up your own podcast or your own episodes, then I think this is going to take care of you. If you just get these items, you're going to be fine. The other thing about all this equipment is that it can all fit into a single backpack. It was important to me to be able to take this show on the road. And so the cost of having to check in luggage these days is astronomical. And with this setup, I'm able to travel very lightly and go around the world and do my recordings without having to worry about leaving things behind or trying to chase down just the pieces that I need. Here, everything fits in one backpack. I purchased the Bag Smart carry-on travel backpack because it could fit everything I had to carry. Also, it has lots of compartments so that I can keep things separate and organized. Now, the main reason I got it is because it's travel ready, meaning it will fit on most airplanes as carry-on luggage without the fear that you have to pay to check your bag in because it's too bulky. With all my equipment in one bag, I'm able to take the podcast on the road. It doesn't have to only stay in the studio, but it's able to travel with me anywhere I want to go. And so you never know where inspiration might come or your next great guest might hail from. And so it's great to be able to move about fluidly all around the world with one simple tool bag. Let's now discuss the software needed to run the podcast.